All right. Today we're going to be going over A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Before we do that, I'd like to thank everyone for all your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. We've gone up from 20 to 30. I am super excited about this channel and how fast it's growing. At least to me, it's super fast. I have been enjoying all of everything you have to say and all your 2 cents. I'm going to get the books you're recommending and add them to my TBR and hopefully do videos on them. Just be patient with me. It's taken me a little bit to get through all these books. So let's jump into this one. First, I'll do a quick overview. This one, A Court of Wings and Ruin, starts off in the Spring Court. So Feyre and Lucien had just got back with Tamlin. And shortly into it, they find out that good old Tammy has been teaming up with Hybern, and he has brought these two leaders to the Spring Court. And they are trying to kind of find holes in the wall between humans and Fae to like bring it down. Feyre ends up, trying to not only foil these plans, but go in on Ianth and Tamlin and kind of just break the whole Spring Court for what they've done. At the same time, across the way in the Night Court, we have Elaine and Nesta, who have been turned Fae, and they're kind of going through their own dilemmas and problems and getting to know a little bit more of the characters that Feyre has surrounded herself with. And preparing for a war with Hybern is going on all over the place. So during this book, we're also introduced to some of the bigger characters we met earlier on, like the Weaver, the Bone Carver, and Bryaxis. They all get a bigger part in this book, which I loved. I think they're pretty awesome characters. And that's just a quick overview of this book and kind of what you're delving into, all the politics of getting ready for war, them trying to recruit allies, and kind of going into Feyre and all her newfound powers. So I guess I'll jump into my thoughts on it. I guess my favorite character in this book would have to be the Bone Carver. I love, not that he helps them with the war, but just his character arc, how he's in this cell made of bones, and he can see the future and knows way too much, and hears the whispers of the wind, and I think he's an awesome character. As far as my favorite part of the book, it would be, it's so random, but I really liked the council meeting where they're all gathered. I think that it could have been a lot shorter. It was like 100 pages of just politics, but at some point in it, Feyre ends up snapping and showing a little bit of her powers. She ends up using water to kind of like cover someone's head and drown them a little bit. That's really the extent of all we see of her powers in this. That's my biggest complaint, is that Feyre has been given like every High Lord's power, and she's supposed to be the ultimate like badass is what I pictured. But she really doesn't do anything. She makes a couple of water horses, kind of like Elsa, and that's it. She could be like filling people with water and boiling it, or freezing it and shattering them, and doing all this like crazy potential for a awesome character. And she really doesn't do anything. And then later in the book, her dad ends up coming back into the picture. We haven't seen him since the first book, and he ends up showing up to help with the war. This is another complaint. The way that Sarah built his character, I really didn't think that it fit his character, that he would finally not just come to save his daughters, but when it was like the most dangerous, the biggest war, he would show up. But it doesn't last long. Spoiler alert, he ends up dying instantly. Once he does, this is another huge spoiler if you don't want to hear it. They fight the King of Hybern. It's like the final big fight, and it ends up being Elaine and Nesta that are doing like the final showdown with the King of Hybern. And this is a huge complaint. So the King of Hybern's been built up to a point where he's like the ultimate badass. He's the most powerful. He puts a whooping on Rhys and Cassian and really everyone that kind of even gets near him, he's destroying. And then they kill him easy. Elaine stabs him. Nesta, comes and cuts his head off, and that's it. It's over. It wasn't a huge epic fight. They didn't unleash all her otherworldly powers. Feyre didn't even step in with all her tons of powers. It was just a very fast battle. All that being said, I still gave this book 5 stars because it did have its moments. It had a lot of really good character development. You also get to see Amren. She kind of goes into the cauldron. It looks like she's betraying Feyre or their plans, and she ends up coming out of her human body and like turning into the goddess that she is and wiping out tons and tons of people. And this is, again, I guess I do have a lot of complaints for it being a 5-star book, but another complaint would be, instead of like, they've built up to this point where saying like, oh, if Amren ever is unleashed, she'll kill everyone, slaughter everyone, become this like otherworldly being. But she doesn't. She just kills the bad guys, goes right back into her body, and now she's a fae. And then at the same time, another spoiler alert, Rhys ends up dying, and all the lords, high lords, even though he's the most powerful, use their tears to bring him back to life, just like they did with Feyre. And I was just, in the thousands of years, it's never even been done. And in the last year, it's done twice for the 2 main characters. And it just seems so unlikely that all these lords, especially like Tamlin, would do anything to save Rhys. It almost seems too safe in these books. Like nobody could really die. All these crazy powers will just keep bringing them back. The only person of importance that has died in any of these is Feyre's dad, who I didn't like anyways. This seems to be building a cool development with Cassian and Nesta. So he keeps trying to get her. She's being super mean and distant and dealing with her own PTSD problems. So I thought that was cool because Cassian is probably by far my favorite character throughout all the books. So I'm super excited to see where that goes. And then a couple other things I left out is we find out in this one that Moore is a lesbian, which she's been kind of using Cassian as a shield to Az, who likes her, and she just doesn't want to come out, and she doesn't want them to ruin anyone's friendship or where she stands. So that'll be interesting to kind of find out more about that. I'm Team Moore and Elaine. So I think that'd be cool if they got together, or at the very least, it'd be super interesting and crazy character development. And then we also find out that Hellion could possibly be Lucien's dad. So I'm interested to see that as well, to see if he is, to see what that entails, and kind of if maybe Lucien's heir to the throne, all these different implications that'll be neat to see. So like I said, I gave this 5 stars. Now that I'm thinking back on it, I might bump that down to 4 because I did have a lot of complaints with this. I don't know if it'd be a 5-star. But that's just a very quick overview. I hope I did the book justice. I really enjoyed reading it. I did, and I'm excited for this next little novella, nice little short break before I hit the last big book. And I'm going to keep trying to push out one of these videos a week. And I hope to continue to get your support, your likes, your comments, your subscriptions, and it means a lot to me. If you need anything or want me to read anything specific, just drop it in the comments, and I promise I'll get around to it. At the very least, I may show a video of me buying it and throwing it on my TBR. I hope you'll have a great week. Stay safe out there, and that's this video.